Good morning, YouTube. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I've gotten a lot of emails and a lot of messages from people asking, why don't I do YouTube videos anymore? You know, what happened? What's going on with Scarlett? Well, I took a little break, took some time off from YouTube. As you guys all know, the last video I made, I was starting a new job at PRE Racing, which I'm still there, and I'm doing great. It's working out awesome, and I'm really happy there. But I've kind of dropped off the YouTube. I needed a break. YouTube is pretty intensive, takes a lot of time to do this stuff. And I've really just been, focusing on just having fun this summer, enjoying the weather, going out in the boat and just doing stuff, and been working a lot too. So, I thought I'd start some of these videos up again because, I did promise you guys I was going to take you along for Scarlett, and I kind of didn't do that. And so I'm going to start kind of giving you guys a little recap here of what's been going on this summer with the car, where it's at and where we're going to go from here. But I am going to start making some more videos for you guys because, you've really, been asking me just constantly, and I kind of miss it and miss you guys. So here we go. I'm going to see if I can, blow the rust off and get back into these videos. So let's start out by talking about Scarlett. I see her back there. I know you guys are wondering what's going on with her and changes I've made and what's going, for the future with her. So let's get into that real quick. All right, let's talk Scarlett. So she's still here, still got her. And, I haven't really done a lot of updates on what's been going on, but we did have a transmission failure on the car, and I was really swinging for the fence. I was going for an 8-second pass. We were out at Woodburn, and I just turned it up as high as it would go, and I got the launch control real spicy, and I really just launched it hard coming out of the hole because I really wanted that 8-second pass. And unfortunately, what happened is the car actually did a wheelie, and it's not a wheelie like you guys see on Cletus's channel or anything like that, where those cars are like standing straight up in the air. But the front tires did come off the ground on the launch. The rear was fully squatted, and the car was hooking in the rear real hard. You could see, actually, I got in the video, there was the rear tires were fully wrinkled. Everything was going good until the front tires came up off the ground. Once that happened, the front tires spun real hard when the rears were dead hooked. And anybody that knows an all-wheel drive car knows that's not ideal. And what ended up happening is all the power, was in the rear, dead hooked. Everything was good. Once the front came up, the front wheel spun real hard. So all that power slammed forward really hard, because what ended up happening, now this is kind of a crazy failure. I actually broke the output shaft in the transmission going to the rear, and simultaneously broke the front differential ring and pinion. So what I think happened is when the front wheel spun, all that power slammed to the back and then sheared the output shaft, which caused a shock load to the front, because basically, everything's under torsion and everything's loaded. So it shocked the front, blew the front ring and pinion, and yeah, so pretty crazy failure. I was pretty disappointed. So the car's been down since that and sat for a really long time. And, while I was waiting for parts, and parts are really hard to get for this transmission. And so I did finally get it, put back together. I did make some upgrades. So the output shaft I was running was from Caps, who did the sequential gears for me, and it was a chrome moly output shaft that was stronger than stock, but it was still a stock diameter to work with the the custom stock driveline that I used to have in this car at the time. DSS doesn't make a carbon shaft for this car, for this wheelbase and this chassis. So that was the way I had this swap working, was through a custom stock STI driveline that was a mixture between an 05 and an 08 or a 15 STI. So that worked really well for me, and I never had an issue. However, we were at the stock output shaft diameter, which we found the limit of that, ended up breaking it, sheared it clean off. So what I ended up doing was I had to get a whole new custom driveline made for this car. So what I did is I got a 3-inch steel driveline made, and then I upgraded the output shaft to the larger diameter chrome moly output shaft to match that driveline. So that's all beefed up now. I feel it's as strong as it can be. As far as the inside of the transmission goes, all the gears were fine. It was just the front ring and pinion was exploded. So I put a new front ring and pinion in it, rebuilt the whole front of the transmission, put it all back together. And I took it back out to Woodburn here a couple weeks ago, and the car did really good. We ended up not being able to run the passes we wanted to run because unfortunately NHRA was tired of me going 9.3 at 150s with no competition license. So we did get dinged for that, and so you'll see over here on the window it says LIC because I had the license. So with that being said, I'm really excited because, as a lot of you guys know, the goal with this car was to be a consistent 9-second car from the get-go. That's why I did this build. And I wanted to get my NHRA competition driving license in this car. And I did it. So last time I went out to Woodburn, we licensed. I did 6 passes and got the license all done. So now I'm fully NHRA competition driver licensed. So now we can race as much as we want. The last pass out, the car, I did like a 9.8, with it just a real soft out of the hole, just not trying to launch it real hard, licensing and breaking the transmission, but easily did 9.8s, no problem, just rolling into it off the line and then getting on it. So I'm really happy with the car. The transmission thing kind of did have me discouraged a little bit, but I think we're good now. I'm going to take you guys over here to the inside of the car, show you guys, what changes we have. You can see we still got the parachute. We did pull it last time we went out. I got to repack that, but we do have the drag wing that I made, full carbon fiber. Love the drag wing. I don't know if you guys know, I did wrap the trunk, the hood, and the roof all carbon fiber to try to match. It's not real carbon fiber on the trunk, but the wing is real carbon. But I just try to make it look a little better because, as you guys know, the fab guy that did my first cage that really screwed me over, he destroyed this roof. So there was not much I could do with it without fully rebodiing working it or skinning it. So I did that for now to make it look good for the race season. But here, going inside the car, show you guys something I'm really excited about. Check it out. I finally got my Link dash in. This thing is sick. So now I've got all my gauges that I need right on my screen. So the plan is to delete all of these gauges here and get rid of this to simplify everything. So we'll still have the gear shift indicator. We got the staging brake. I still have my EDFC suspension control and my MAP DCCD center diff control. But yeah, this is really going to make things so much easier because I can basically see everything right here on the dash that goes to the Link ECU. It's all CAN bus. It's really cool. It's going to allow me to add devices to the car for data logging and things like that. It's going to open up some channels. So I'm really stoked about that. And then getting rid of that's going to simplify everything. But yeah, really happy with this dash. I do need to connect up to it and configure it today. So I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to let you guys check that out. So I'm going to log in there and get that thing tuned and working with the computer so that it's reading properly. So, but yeah. So that's what's going on with Scarlett. She's still here, alive and kicking. All right, so I do have some plans with the car. So tomorrow, we're actually going to IFO Kent, and we're going to run this thing in Force Induction Pro. I'm probably not going to be competitive in Force Induction Pro. I mean, I'm going to be racing 7-second cars. I did get second place last time I ran IFO in this car because everybody else broke in Force Induction Pro, which I guess, you know, it happens, and that's one way to do it. But we will be out there racing, and I got a couple surprises for you guys, though, because Baderbilt's going to be there. We're going to have Travis, Josh McGee. There's going to be a lot of fast Subarus there, so it's going to be a good time. I'm going to run the car in Force Induction Pro till I get eliminated, and then I'll drop down to Test and Tune, and we'll go from there. But it's going to be, you know, I want to get some good solid data on the some 60 foots and some launches out there to see if the changes to the transmission I made are holding up. And then after IFO, I want to take the car to Coalinga and do a half-mile race. So that's going to be really fun. I've never done a half-mile race before, and we're going to take her and we're going to send her. And that's going to probably be the last race of the year for the car because, you know, when you go half mile and you're going to send it, right? So we're going to see what she's going to do. But our season here is coming to an end anyways, so I figured a good way to end it off would be a half-mile race, because that was one of my goals that I wanted to do with the car, was do a half-mile race and, you know, do shift sector with it also after I got my drag goal. So I don't think I'm going to be getting an 8-second pass this year. I don't have the cylinder heads, the cams, and the valve springs to do it. I'm still on stock cylinder heads with just BC3s. And, you know, as you guys know from Texas, I don't know if you guys watched that, but we blew our really nice ported cylinder heads with our GSC S3s and good valve train that allowed this car to make 100 more horsepower than it makes now. So we're down on power quite a bit. We always have been since we've been running 9.3s. But we've been making the best of it. I've been driving the car as hard as I can, and the car's been doing great. So next season, we're going to come back with some better heads, and we're going to up the power, and then we're going to go for our 8-second pass. So I don't think that's going to happen this season. So, you know, we'll get it next year. So, all right, guys. Well, let's go tune this dash. All right, guys. It wouldn't be one of my videos without a little bit of tech. So I'm going to show you guys how to get the dash working. So this dash has a harness that comes off that I've already made. I just want to show you guys. So basically we've got this harness that comes off the dash here. And this is going to be our can harness, all right? I went ahead and wrapped this and loomed it nice. I've got everything taken apart right now, so everything's kind of strung about. But the ECU is right there. And what we have here, so the link inside, I added this CAN connector. This is a CAN PCB connector. So this goes into the case, you drill a hole in the side, and it goes right to the circuit board. There's actually 2 ports on the link inside to add this kind of stuff. Then inside this connector, this is called a CAN F connector. So basically this is kind of like a quick disconnect now. So if I want to take this apart for any reason, all I have to do is just turn this little lock tab here, and then I can take this apart at any time for serviceability. And then down here, it's got a weather pack sealed connection. So inside there, you solder about 3 pins, and there's CAN high and CAN low, and then there's a ground pin. You solder all 3 of those, you build your connector, you plug it in, and then you give your dash switched 12-volt power, and that's it. And then there's some things in the software we have to configure. And so I'll go ahead and show you that real quick, and then I'll show you the dash in action. Okay, we're in the Link software here, and I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm gonna try to show you as best I can. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up to the settings here. We're gonna go to CAN setup. And then this box here is how we have it configured. So we have CAN module 1 and 2. So what I did is you select CAN 1, user defined 1 megabit per second. And then in here, you're gonna select from the drop-down menu, we're gonna do the Link AIM Strata Dash. ID is gonna be 1000, and then transmit rate is gonna be 20 Hertz. Once you do that, you click OK. That's literally it. The ECU does the rest, and it's just that easy. It transmits through the CAN signal. It's basically a network for the car now. So the 2 wires transfer information now back and forth from the dash to the ECU, and that's it. So once you got that set up, you hook everything up, and then it works. And then from there, you can configure the dash to do pretty much anything you want. This is the hard basic setup, but after this, it's up and running. All right, we're back in the car. We're gonna fire it up. we go. See if I can zoom in here for you guys. Oh, look at that. Oil temperature, coolant temperature, TPS, everything's there. Check engine light. But yeah, pretty nice dash. It's got options here. We can actually scroll over. We can change different pages. So yeah, the dash is up and working and it's freaking awesome. Now I'm going to show you guys one last thing about how you can literally customize this dash and make it do almost anything you want. All right, we're back here on the laptop. Let's go ahead and we're going to close this out. And we're going to go into this, the Race Studio software, which comes with the dash. Now this is a software that actually lets you connect to the dash and customize pretty much anything you want. These are all the parameters right here. You can do the units, PSI, I mean, literally everything. This is really cool. So the things you can do with this dash are pretty much insane. I mean, I've been sitting here for a while and going through these settings, and there is just so much you can do. You have custom channels you can set up. You can do shift lights and alarms. So I can basically configure this to have whatever shift lights, you know, where I want them. I can have alarms for oil pressure. I mean, look, you've got safety for overheating, fault codes. I mean, it's pretty much endless what you can do. I mean, this thing is just super powerful. You can also configure your icons. I mean, this thing is insane. I mean, it's going to take me a while to you know, figure out how to use all these features on this dash, but it's very advanced and very powerful. I mean, you can even select how you want your gauges to look. You can do what colors you want, what layout you want. You can have different pages for different data. You can even hook up a camera where you're on the track and you're racing, and you can have the camera footage in there. The craziest thing by far that I've seen though is there's actually I think it's called a track manager. So what a track manager is you can actually with the GPS module, like around a road course, it'll actually watch your whole run and it'll time your laps, and it'll actually show you like where you were fast and slow on the track. So I mean, this thing, it's pretty crazy, you know, what you can do with this thing. There's just really, I don't think there's any end to it, honestly. I mean, this, for a dash, it's pretty cool. So all right guys, well, that's my first new video, getting back into the YouTube, giving you guys an update on Scarlett. I'm gonna take off. I gotta get her washed up and ready for IFO. So the next video, you're gonna see us go to IFO, and we're gonna take you along for the ride, and hopefully everything goes smooth. So until next time, we'll see you later.